Jen Senger from Microsoft Elevate AI Business Process Specialist. And then we have Arsal Naveed, who is a business analyst at Imperium Dynamics, and Ali Rizvi, who is an associate director AI solutions at Imperium Dynamics. So yeah, thank you so much for joining in and welcome to our live webinar on reducing IT spend through platform consolidation for nonprofits. So before we start, we have few housekeeping items. This session is being recorded. You will receive an email with a link to access the recording, so feel free to revisit it or share it with your colleagues. There will be a question and answer session at the end, so please feel free to submit your questions throughout the presentation using the Q&A chat feature, and we will address any and as many questions as possible at the end of the session. We'll also be sharing additional resources and a copy of today's slide deck after the session, so you don't have to worry about taking a detailed notes. With that said, let's dive right in. Okay, so one more thing that I would want to put it here is that as part, since you are attending the webinar, you would be eligible for a free assessment post the webinar. So Ali will talk more about this assessment in detail down the presentation. But again, if you have registered for the webinar and you are attending the webinar, you have unlocked a free assessment. So there's a QR code at the end of the presentation. You can scan it and then you can fill out a form and our CSM team will reach out to you. Thank you so much. Let's dive in. Now, Jen, over to you, Jen.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jen Senger, and I'm an AI business application specialist here at Microsoft. Just wanted to talk a little bit about why this matters. Here at Microsoft Elevate, our focus is helping nonprofits and educational institutions use technology in ways that directly support mission impact, not just modernize for the sake of modernization. We know that organizations today are under incredible pressure, limited funding, rising operational costs, cybersecurity concerns, and growing expectations from donors, boards, and the communities they serve. At the same time, AI and cloud technologies are creating new possibilities. The challenge is that many nonprofits are trying to adopt these innovations while managing fragmented systems, disconnected data, and overstretched IT teams. And that's why platform consolidation is such an important conversation today, because it's simplifying the environment, reducing unnecessary IT spend, strengthening security, and building a foundation for long-term sustainability. With that context in mind, let me quickly walk you through where we're headed today. Next slide, please. Here's how we'll spend our time together. We'll start by looking at the current IT landscape and why complexity has become such a major challenge for nonprofits and educational institutions. From there, we'll talk about the key pressures driving change and why more organizations are moving towards platform consolidation. We'll also walk through a few real-world examples and then close with the operational and financial outcomes organizations are seeing. And then we'll leave time at the end for Q&A. Next slide, please. Organizations today are operating in increasingly complex technology environments. Over time, systems were added to solve immediate needs: collaboration, donor management, reporting, security, and operations. But what many organizations are realizing now is that complexity itself has become one of the biggest operational challenges. It increases costs, creates fragmented data, introduces inefficiencies, and makes it harder to scale. And in many cases, that complexity is limiting the organization's ability to focus on mission impact. So this is where a unified platform approach becomes so important, because it helps reduce operational costs, strengthen security, and enable more data-driven decision-making. And in most cases, that complexity didn't actually happen intentionally. Next slide, please. Most nonprofits and educational institutions didn't design their IT environments to be complex. These environments evolved over time based on departmental needs, donor-funded initiatives, short-term projects, and vendor recommendations. Each decision made sense at the time, but over the years, it resulted in a patchwork of disconnected systems. And every additional platform increases administrative overhead, support burden, and security exposure. So when we look at a typical environment, this is usually what we see. Next slide. When we assess nonprofit organizations, we often see environments with typically 8 to 15 different business applications. This can include a variety of finance systems, donor or CRM platforms, reporting tools, collaboration tools, HR systems, and multiple security solutions. Individually, these tools often work well. The real challenge is managing all the disconnected systems, vendors, integrations, and data sources. And once you look across that environment, the cost impact becomes much clearer. Next slide. One important point here is that IT costs go far beyond software licensing. Organizations typically incur costs across 3 main areas: infrastructure, applications, and operations. And in many cases, the largest hidden expense is operational overhead. Maintaining those integrations, troubleshooting across systems, managing vendors, supporting users, and securing fragmented environments. And that's why consolidation creates so much impact, because it reduces both direct spend and day-to-day complexity. And when you break that down further, the root cause is usually the same. Next slide. At the core of rising IT spend is complexity. With organizations that are managing duplicate systems, redundant licensing, disconnected data, manual workflows, and legacy infrastructure. And each disconnected process introduces additional friction, whether that's slower reporting, inconsistent data, or increased support effort. Research consistently shows that fragmented environments increase total cost of ownership significantly. But just as important, complexity also can slow down the ability to innovate and adopt technologies like AI. And at the same time, organizations are dealing with increasing external pressure. Next slide. Yes, organizations today are facing pressure from multiple directions. Those budgets still remain tight while expectations for measurable impact continue to grow. Cybersecurity threats and compliance requirements are increasing, and many nonprofits are operating with lean IT teams. So overall, organizations are being asked to modernize, improve efficiency, and strengthen that security while also reducing cost. And that's why platform consolidation is no longer just a technology decision. It's becoming an operations strategy for sustainability. Next slide. What we're seeing across industries is a shift towards automation, AI, and integrated platforms. Organizations are moving away from isolated point solutions and toward connected ecosystems, where communication, security, analytics, and workflows work together more seamlessly. Because ultimately, AI delivers the most value when it operates across unified systems and centralized data. So this isn't just a technology trend, it's a shift towards more sustainable operating model. So the next natural question you ask is, what does that actually look like in practice? Next slide. At a high level, a platform strategy means replacing multiple disconnected systems with a unified technology ecosystem. Instead of separate tools for communication, reporting, security, storage, and operations, organizations move towards an integrated platform. That creates several advantages: lower integration costs, simpler administration, better security visibility, centralized identity, and more consistent data. And importantly, it creates a much stronger foundation for automation and AI moving forward. Ultimately, platform consolidation is about creating a simpler, more secure, and scalable environment so organizations can focus more resources on mission impact. With that, I'll hand it over to Mohammed to walk through how Microsoft's ecosystem brings this to life.
Thank you so much, Jen. So, as we've just discussed, the real value of a platform strategy is operational alignment that brings everything into one integrated environment instead of managing disconnected tools and systems. So, let's look at how that compares with the traditional operating model. In a traditional environment, there are multiple vendors, separate systems, expensive integrations, manual workflows, and increased security exposure. Whereas in the Power Platform or platform model, one integrated ecosystem supports communication, data management, security, automation, and reporting. So this dramatically simplifies operational management and perhaps most importantly, it improves visibility across the organization. When organizations consolidate onto integrated platforms, the impact becomes measurable. Typically, we see cost reductions from 20 to 40%, improved operational efficiency through automation, faster reporting cycles, standardized workflows, and stronger security posture. And one of the biggest benefits is centralized identity management. Rather than managing security separately across multiple systems, organizations basically gain unified control and governance. This is where the Microsoft ecosystem becomes particularly powerful. Microsoft provides a unified cloud platform across four areas. One, Microsoft 365 supports communication, collaboration, document management, security. Dynamics 365 supports CRM, donor management, case management, and workflow automation, whereas Power Platform enables reporting, automation, and low-code application development, whereas Azure provides cloud infrastructure, data storage, and advanced security services. Altogether, these solutions usually operate as a connected ecosystem rather than isolated products. The real value of Microsoft Power Platform is integration. Communication, operations, analytics, security, and the data all work together within a unified architecture. This eliminates duplicate systems, manual processes, data silos, and unnecessary infrastructure complexity. And from a leadership perspective, this creates something extremely valuable: organizational visibility. Let's look at a simple example. Before migration, organizations often rely on physical servers, manual backups, VPN-based access, and limited security monitoring. And after migrating to Azure, infrastructure becomes cloud-hosted, centrally managed, automated, scalable, and most importantly, secure. This significantly reduces operational overhead while improving resilience and accessibility. The measurable outcomes are significant. Organization, Organizations commonly achieve 40% reduction in infrastructure maintenance, 99.9% system uptime, 30% reduction in IT support workload, and sustainability that lowers security risk. And these outcomes directly translate into operational efficiency and long-term cost optimization. At this stage, I would like to move on from the theory into the real world examples because ultimately organizations want to see how these strategies produce measurable outcomes, right? So firstly, we have the National Zakat Foundation in the United Kingdom, which faced highly manual operational processes. This included paper-based workflows, separate case tracking systems, administrative administrative inefficiencies, and then by implementing Dynamics 365 and Power Automate, they achieved 80% reduction in service delivery time, 35% reduction in administrative workload. So we can see that this is a very strong example of how automation directly improves service delivery. World Vision Germany. So they faced challenges with their legacy CRM systems, manual campaign tracking, and limited reporting capabilities. They migrated to Dynamics 365 and Microsoft Power BI. The results were substantial. Donor engagement was increased by 28%, whereas the reporting time was reduced by 60%. And we can see that this demonstrates how integrated platforms improve both operational efficiency and organizational impact. Next we have is Medicine Sans Frontier, which is basically they needed better operational visibility across their fragmented databases and reporting environments. So they implemented Azure data platforms and centralized analytics for their system. So they improved reporting speed, decision making, and operational coordination. Next, we have the Eden Cohen University in Australia. So similarly, they needed a better operational visibility across their databases and reporting environments. They modernized the analytics environment using Microsoft Fabric, Microsoft Power BI, and Microsoft Entra ID. The results included 50% reduction in platform costs, 70% faster development time, and 3.5 times increase in analytics users. These examples show that platform consolidation impacts both operational efficiency and organizational scalability. And lastly, we have the National FFA Foundation, United States. Another strong example of platform consolidation delivering measurable impact. Before the modernization, the organization was operating across 14 disconnected systems. This created severe operational challenges and gaps, which included fragmented donor data, limited visibility across fundraising activities, and highly manual reporting processes. As many organizations experienced disconnected systems, made it difficult to create a unified view of donor engagement and operational performance. To address this, they implemented Microsoft Dynamics 365 along with a unified non-profit CRM platform strategy. This enabled them to centralize donor information, streamline reporting, and improve operational coordination across their teams. And again, the results were significant. The revenue increased by 40%, average gift size increased by 3.3%, and operational efficiency improved substantially. What makes this example particularly important is that it demonstrates how platform consolidation is not only an IT improvement initiative, it directly contributes to mission outcomes, fundraising performance, and organizational growth. So now I'll hand it over to my colleague Ali Rizvi for continuing with the IT discovery. Ali Rizvi, on to you.
Thank you, Arsal. Those were really good examples. So now, after we have seen these real world examples, next question becomes, how do organizations actually begin this transformation journey? So from what we have seen, successful modernization typically follows a structured approach, and that begins with discovery. The first phase focuses on understanding the current technology environment. This includes system inventories, license assessments, infrastructure reviews, and security assessments. Now, the objective here is visibility because organizations can optimize what they can fully see, right? So in many cases, organizations discover overlapping systems, unused licenses, duplicate vendors, and hidden operational dependencies during this stage. Next slide, please. Okay, now that we have established visibility, organizations move into identifying inefficiencies. This phase focuses on areas such as duplicate licensing, overlapping vendor contracts, underutilized infrastructure, and manual operational workflows. This analysis often uncovers substantial hidden costs that were previously spread across departments and systems without centralized visibility. This is a really go-to option for the CTOs, and this helps cut down all the redundant cost, seeing where the manual workflows could be automated. So this is a crucial step where we can identify the gaps and bridge those gaps. Next slide, please. Now, the next phase is the architecture planning. This is where organizations define their future platform strategy, identify and access management frameworks, security models, data structure, and governance structures. The goal is not simply replacing systems. The goal is building a scalable, secure, and sustainable operational foundation for long-term growth. Now, moving on to the migration and modernization, which is the fourth step in our journey. Thank you. So once the future architecture is defined, organizations begin execution. This phase includes data migration, system deployment, user transition planning, integration management, and risk mitigation. However, successful modernization is not only technical, it is organizational. Change management, user adoption, and stakeholder engagement are critical to ensuring long-term success. Now, moving on to the final phase, which is also the most crucial phase, which focuses on sustainability and long-term operational success. This includes user training, adoption monitoring, security governance, compliance management, and most importantly, performance tracking. Technology transformation only delivers long-term value when organizations establish governance models that ensure consistency, security, and continuous improvement. So with these simple five stages, five steps, we can we can begin our transformation journey. And to wrap this, we want to cover the business outcomes that this journey is going to achieve. So let's cover those. Now, as you mentioned that this is the most important part, and this would reveal what we get out from this journey. When organizations successfully consolidate and modernize their platforms, the outcomes typically appear across three major areas. The first one, and the most important one, financial outcomes, because we live in a monetary world, so we have to be mindful of where we are spending. So the financial outcomes include reduced infrastructure cost, lower licensing expenses, reduced support overhead. Not only the financial outcomes, but the major area is supporting the people that we have in the organization, right? So in the operational outcomes, it includes faster reporting, improved collaboration, increased automation, and better visibility across departments. Now, this one is really for the CTOs and CIOs. So security is, one of the critical area where CIOs and CTOs are really struggling when they are fragmented and different systems. So in here, we get stronger data protection, centralized identity management, and improved governance. And also that results in reduced operational risk. Collectively, these outcomes strengthen organizational resilience and create a more scalable operational environment. Now, so we have covered the journey, the transformation journey. Now we'll see how we, like the other organizations, can become part of this journey. So to help in this transformation, we are offering Imperium's platform consolidation assessment, which covers the steps that I just discussed in a phased approach. So over here in phase one, basically, we'll be going over the discovery and environment mapping, where we are going to conduct a structured review of your current systems, your vendors, licenses, and the workflows. Now, this will give leadership team a complete honest picture of what organization is currently running and where the actual costs are coming from. The second phase would include the identity, the cost and redundancy analysis. And in this phase, we are going to identify where the organization is spending unnecessarily and where duplicate tools are involved, where we have overlapping licenses, so we can cut those down, where we are having vendor contracts, underuse contracts with vendors, and where we have the manual processes that we can easily automate. So now, after the second phase, we move on to the third phase, where we actually design the platform. And in this phase, we are going to map the right combination of Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, Power Platform, and Azure services to fulfill the use case and to align your mission. based on your team size and your operational needs. So we are going to use this combination to design a system that is not having complexities, but that is designed flawlessly to meet your needs and to to be scalable in future, so that whatever um, future capabilities that you want to integrate in that, those could be done easily without adding in extra huge cost. Now, in phase 4, we are going to do the migration and transition planning, where we are going to discuss how we are going to, incorporate and bring in data from your legacy systems, so that we are accounting for the change management piece in that one, risk mitigation, and a sequence approach, so that your operations are not halted and your operations keep running smoothly in this transition phase when you are coming from those fragmented systems into one unified platform. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, now this is the last phase and also the most critical one, which covers the governance and adoption framework. So in here, we are going to define how your organization will sustain the consolidated platform in the long term, where we are going to cover the user adoption, which is a critical piece, and also which is a critical piece when we have a lot of users and we are using legacy systems for a long time. So user adoption becomes a critical piece when we are moving to this new technology, new system, and a unified system. So we are going to cover the user adoption fees, the security governance, performance monitoring, and also the ongoing optimization. So we can identify the gaps earlier and we can slowly move towards the optimized approach and keep on scaling the system. Now, this transformation only delivers value if it sticks together. So we are going to focus that we bring in all the phases properly in a timely approach, so that we can properly identify and bridge those gaps. Okay, so the outcomes of this assessment that we are offering is, you guys, the person or the organization who's going to get this assessment are going to get full assessment report. They are going to also get cost opportunity analysis, a platform blueprint document, and a prioritized action roadmap, which is going to lay out all the steps for their team so they can take those up. Now, based on the trends that we have seen in the industry, this assessment is extremely beneficial for organizations that are currently working with 5+ disconnected tools, or are struggling with reporting and data visibility, or if they are preparing for cloud migration, and if they are underutilizing Microsoft nonprofit grants, then too, this is the go-to assessment. And if the rising IT costs are like, if like the organization is facing increasing IT cost and the ROI visibility is not there, like why the cost is increasing and the ROI is not there. So they can also utilize this assessment. And most importantly, for those managing security risk across multiple systems, this is a crucial assessment for those organizations, so that they can mitigate all those risks and then come onto this unified platform where we can utilize Microsoft services in a unified way. Now, next slide, please, sir. Okay. To close today's session, I just want to reiterate that platform consolidation is not simply a technology initiative. It is a strategic operational approach that helps organization reduce complexity, improve security, increase productivity, and enable scalable growth. So now, the organizations that succeed over the next decade will not necessarily be the ones with the most technology. They will be the organizations with the most connected, efficient, and sustainable technology environments. I would like to thank you everyone for joining today's session, and I would like to open the floor for Q&A. So please go ahead and ask away.